Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Net Saviors Podcast. I'm your host Adell, and with me is a man I trust to get rid of the dark chips, even though I know he won't. MegaMasterX.
They don't fit in the chip trader. Hey everybody.
That's odd. I can pull one from the chip trader though.
Yeah, but you can't, they don't fit. They don't.
Interesting. What's going on, MMX?
A little bit of everything. Just been kind of replaying Battle Network 1 on my stream, and just kind of also playing Battle Chip Challenge on the side, and got world record in Battle Network 4 Operation Battle, and then Chaotic bopped me within an hour by a minute and 40 seconds, so that's kind of cool.
I mean, will anyone actually ever beat my record of 20 seconds against Chaotic?
Did you just turn the power off, or...?
No, I remember we were in the hotel room.
Oh, yeah. Man, that was good.
Poor Chaotic.
That was a very memorable time. Poor Chaotic. He's grown as a chip collector since then.
Does that actually say much? I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Anyway.
It's a hobby. It starts with a spark and ends in a forest fire.
Starts with a spark and ends with me in the gutter. Oh, no. Alright, so... MMX, we've gone through a lot of games so far.
We have.
Some good. Some very bad. But now it's time to get to one that people seem to unanimously hate on, but I think is starting to make a slight comeback.
Are we talking about Battle Network 4 Red Sun and Blue Moon?
Oh, we certainly are.
Yes!
So, yeah, we're finally getting around to it. Oddly enough, Episode 5 is about Battle Network 4.
Go figure.
Damn Battle Chip Challenge.
I mean, it wasn't just Battle Chip Challenge. It was all the spin-offs and everything else. I'm sure we're going to throw a PvP episode in before we finish up 6. So.
Definitely. But, wait, we didn't cover, Mega Man crossover.
We're not going to talk... Listen.
I mean, that has Battle Network in it.
It does, but is that more Boktai or is that more Mega Man?
What if it's neither?
What if it's equally both?
Oh. Anyway, before we get into that, let's talk about 4. Let's talk about a game that is still the best-selling Battle Network game to date. And people seem to hate for a few good reasons, but I think they forget a lot of the better aspects of it.
I agree. I think that the time that Battle Network 4 ended up coming out really started... It really helped it, because the anime in the United States was starting to really come to a fruition. The ratings were going up for it, and it was at the tail end of 3 that the anime started, and then 4 were dropped, and then it just sold like hotcakes. The advanced pet Battle Chip toys were released in stores. Mm-hmm. There were, of course, the Battle Chips, the figures were released too, and that just kind of like helped boost the sales. I think that it really did pretty well.
The advanced PET is the only one I have still. And that was my first, though.
Yeah, that's...
The Proto Man wanted that.
I remember, I have very fond memories of mowing lawns for 2 weeks in order to get the $35 in order to go to Walmart and buy the very last one. And it was a Mega Man one. Yeah.
Dude, I got mine at KB Toys for like 12. And it was one of those big mega packs. Also, it was at a KB Toys. Let that sink in.
Yeah, they were probably right about to finish closing those stores at that time, I suppose. But. So, Adell, let's drill down into Battle Network 4 and just kind of really talk about what made it unique in the series.
No.
Okay.
No. So, Battle Network 4, oh, goodness, this game. So, let's see. It came out in 2004, September 3rd, 2004 in the US, December 12th, 2003 in Japan. And it came out in the EU before here, too, June 29th.
With an arguably worse logo.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. That's an episode I really want to cover. EU box art for Mega Man titles.
Is that going to be an entire episode? I feel like that's going to be a good, like... I
could make it a whole episode.
I don't know. I feel like we could only...
What did I tweet you today?
Okay, you know...
Exactly.
You're...
Anything is possible with me, dude.
So I really want to, like... I don't know. Battle.org 4 is actually one of my favorite installments, which is an unpopular opinion, as you said, but...
Oh, yeah. So, Go ahead.
I was going to say, it has a lot of memories that kind of stuck with me. The graphical changes really were, like... Some people don't like it, because they really shrunk down all the sprites and stuff. But that made it, like, really memorable for me, because it started a new era in Mega Man Battle Network.
I think it was for the best when they shrunk down the graphics, honestly. It was a really stark difference. Very drastic from 3, but I feel like when they did that, they opened up so much room just to cram more things into an 8 megabyte cartridge.
Not only that, but you could just see more on the screen. You could get a better view of the internet. You could see the town maps a little bit better. It was just all around significantly better, in my opinion.
Oh, Lord, you hear it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Fuck it. So, yeah, no, and... Because I remember 3, and my mind goes back to Hades Isle. It just... Everything was really close.
Iceball M!
But then I think of 4, and I think of, like, the tournament area. It's gigantic on the screen. There's so much around you, it's ridiculous. And I don't think there's any loss in quality.
The Castillo tournament arena. Just on being on top of a castle.
Yeah. Like, it's incredibly impressive that they used less pixels for these things, but they came out more detailed, in a sense.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
Yeah.
Although some people don't like it because it just looks way too small, which I mean, I guess I understand, but...
I mean, to each their own, but...
Yeah. You want to dive into the battle system? Let's talk about the changes in 4.
Okay, that's cool. So, as we know, 3 introduced the counter, the little hand quotes there, counter system, wherein if you killed something right as it attacked, you got bug frags. You heard the little ding, and you got, that's your counter, blah, blah, blah. 4 took that, threw it out the window, then went picked it up, just a little bit of it, and brought it back inside and reworked it. So now, when you counter, you get something completely different, which also leads into the emotion window.
So in Battle Network 4, there were a bunch of different states that you have. There's the tired status. There's also, kind of playing on what Adell was just saying, there was full synchro. So when you engage in a counter, when you counter an enemy, it can be an enemy Navi, it can be an enemy virus, it can be an opponent in PvP. When you countered an opponent, you gain full synchro status. And Mega Man kind of flashes. He has this kind of like artifact around the Navi on the field. And your next chip that you use, the next offensive chip that you use, deals double damage. Which is huge.
Extremely huge. To iterate, it differs greatly from the full synchro scene in 3. No longer a story element, per se. Now an actual battle mechanic.
Which, I mean, I think is a good segue, right? Because that was... In 3, the introduction of full synchro was kind of like the genesis of the ability, and it kind of came into itself in 4.
Yeah.
As kind of an evolution.
And,
I mean, it sticks around for the other installments.
3 touched on it, I think, properly. The Navi and the NetOp merged, and the Navi became more powerful, which is essentially what happens in full synchro, just not the entire battle.
Yes. That is correct.
So yeah, going off of that though, like you said, you have different states. You have the tired, you have the regular, of course. You have full synchro and the dark state.
And angry.
And angry.
Yep, you get angry if you take, I believe it's 300 damage in a very short window, or if you take, if you get like infinite Vulcaned or super Vulcaned with an attack boost on it, you'll get stuck into angry. Oh. When you lose control of Mega Man for a certain amount of time, you get angry.
Really?
Which also does double damage on the next chip usage.
Yeah. People tend to prefer... later installments, I guess you don't care if angry or full synchro comes up. I think angry is better because you don't lose it, right?
Yeah, but it goes away after.
Well, yeah,
I don't remember the exact amount of time.
There's no way you're holding on to that for too long. No. You see angry, you're like, oh, life sword.
Yeah, if you can pull it off, yeah. Also, if you're not using it for our next topic, which is Soul Unison.
That's right.
So apparently, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. I was just gonna say. So we took Styles, the best thing in any we took Styles, and we threw it out the window again. And then they went outside. They picked up a couple pieces. They brought it back in. They reworked it. So now we have a thing called Soul Unisons, where instead of just being stuck in a style like Wood Shield, you are now able to, I guess the best word would be morph almost in battle between a playstyle that you want to go for.
Yeah, so in order to engage in these souls, you actually have to consume a type of chip. Like, say for instance, you would have to consume a sword chip to go into Proto Soul. And apparently, story-wise, like, this happens. Mega Man just gains this ability by taking on another Navi's power, and he's like, wow, I've conveniently forgot how to style change because... Well, no, he forgot how to style change because he got the advanced pet.
He also got deleted.
That's also
spoiler
true.
of 3. Mega Man dies.
Yeah, we're past that. He dies a lot. But yeah, so, like, Soul Unison engages, it consumes a chip, you take on a form, and I think it lasts for the remainder of the battle?
No.
Yeah. No. Doesn't?
No.
No, yeah, that's right, because there's Soul Turn NCPs.
See, this is the game that got it right. There, I said
it.
I said it!
Yeah, Battle Network 4 does something right. That's the first one. Take notes, folks. But yeah, so you could engage in this form, and it would do things such as boost that kind of type of chip, like going back to my Proto Soul example, it would boost sword chips. You also gain access, I believe, to... No, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's other abilities like back Bs and things like that that you get as a result of that. But yeah, it's pretty unique.
They also changed the way you look drastically. This game, so to do it, like you said, you sacrifice a chip. This game introduced a lot of new elements that did not exist prior. So now we have things like stealth chips, cracking chips,
object chips,
plus chips, wind chips, cracking chips, and yeah, and it's just and breaking chips.
Yes,
like some things had a breaking quality to them, or they had a wind quality to them, but they didn't do like this. It definitely took it to the next level.
It did. It really shows that Capcom was continuing their tradition in the Battle Network series of experimenting and iterating by kind of taking the chip library elements, the element part of the chip library, to the absolute extreme. In my opinion, it was kind of extreme, but...
I like the ideas behind it, though. A couple things felt a little redundant, like plush chips were real whatever, because there just was not enough. Wasn't just attack plus?
It was. Well, color point and double point were in there.
Okay, yeah. See, that's all of, like, 4 or 5 chip. That's really small.
It is. They also introduced secret chips as a new class.
Oh, God, yeah. See, this is something else I think it did extremely well. I love secret chips.
Yeah, so secret chips are certain Navi-based attacks for the most part, although there are 1 or 2 secret chips that are not based around a Navi, like Guts Punch, Roll Arrow, Seek Bomb for Windman. Let's see. There's just Hawk Cut for Proto Man. There's a lot of like Navi-based attacks that were secret chips, and I think that I really, really dig it too. It's one of my favorite parts.
And to get them, you had to, jump through certain hoops and all this stuff. You had to delete. I forget what it is. It's the SP version, right?
I thought it was the DS version.
The DS version. It's one like.
I mean, you could just open You can just open the network window in the Virtual Console versions and get all the secret chips.
Okay, look,
including Z-Saber.
So it makes the Virtual Console version the absolute worst.
A lot of people don't know about that. Like in Battle Network 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you could just open the network window and they patched it to where instead of net play, you just get a bunch of really crazy overpowered chips. No, they did it in Battle Network 1 as well. All the Virtual Console games.
Wait, what does 1 get?
It gives you, like, Hero Sword. It gives you Hero Sword.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but it breaks the game.
Yeah, I was playing, the Virtual Console for 4, and I closed my window, I opened it back up, and ta-da!
You now have practically
Infinite
a full secret
power.
So I think there are a couple of other on the topic of chips, if we could stick on it for a bit. There were a couple of other things that I think Capcom did in Battle Network 4 that were really kind of outside the norm with the chip library. They introduced Vulcans, which are probably my favorite chips of all time, really.
Yes.
And they also... I feel like the chip library in Battle Network 4 was catered to the Soul system, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it kind of forced you to build your folder around the Souls that you want to play, but it's a bad thing because the majority of the library is dedicated to Souls and not to strategy, so, which is unfortunate.
I like the idea of having to... because Souls play such an important role.
They do.
But it does kind of suck that regular Mega Man just is kind of powerless without Double Soul. Especially since, like, some Souls are just a lot better. Because they have such a wide variety of things to choose from. And then, not every chip has a type to it.
That is correct.
So, it's a varied thing. Again, I like the idea of, this is the way I like to fight. I want to use Proto Soul. I want a bunch of swords, blah, 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 blah. But then outside of that, you're like, well, dang, I've only got 3, maybe 4 turns to do this.
Yeah.
So, It's whatever your cup of tea is, I feel. Some people like it, some people hate it. I know MegaMasterX is just like a very heavy advocate of hating it. He pickets outside of Capcom all the time, saying, down with Double Soul. It's ridiculous.
We hate Double Soul, give us crosses. We hate Double Soul, give us style change, But
crosses are the worst thing ever.
I mean, if you're bad...
Or casual.
We're casual. Let's talk about dark chips.
Yeah, let's not. Moving on. So, speaking of chip libraries and all kinds of cool things, dark chips exist in this game as a plot point and as an unfortunate battle point.
Dark chip.
So, there are, let me bring it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dark chips.
Let's see. How many can I name without looking at the list?
Do it.
Alright. Darker Cub, Dark Invis, Dark Lance, Dark Cannon, Dark Vulcan, Dark Stage, there's one more.
Come on.
I don't remember it. Dark Sword.
How'd you forget Dark Sword almost?
I don't know. Did I get them all?
Dark Bomb, Dark Cannon, Dark Lance, Dark Recover, Dark Spread, Dark Stage, Dark Sword, Dark Vulcan.
I was off by 2. I missed Dark Spread and Dark...
Dark chip created by Desire. So these are... The art on them makes them seem like whatever. Because one, it's the mini-bomb, it's the cannon, it's sword, it's Vulcan. But the damage attached to them is absolutely absurd. And again,
disgusting.
That's the plot point of it. It is supposed to be, here is this really, really strong chip. It's going to have negative effects, but dude, you're gonna win no matter what. And so, like, Dark Bomb, it's just a mini bomb, right? Does 200 damage. Dark Sword does 500 damage.
But it covered, like, both of those. Dark Bomb covers the entire field.
Yes.
Dark Sword covers Life Sword.
Yes.
Range.
Dark Stage turns your area into black holes and your opponent's area into swamp. And you use these, and you got a big power boost. Unfortunately, you could use them in PvP as well. And the only cost, and I say only because this is absurd, you lose 1 HP permanently. The end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is what gave the game a really bad rep. People played against others with this stuff, and it's not fun. There's no real counterplay, there's no strategy. It's literally, haha, I have drawn the Dark Lance, you are dead.
GG, I will gladly give an HP for this.
Dark Recover is 1,000 HP. It's bad. 3 introduced dark chips. Not like this, though. Dark chips in that game were just, like, certain ones, like Base, Serenade, and you had to have a dark hole open, yada, yada, yada.
Or the Navi Cusp part. It was just kind of...
Yeah.
Eh. This happens if you take a certain amount of damage, or it just randomly appears, it feels like.
Yeah, it's a plot thing where you can't beat this guy, and then it's like, whoop, hey, look, a dark chip, and then you have to use it. But yeah, that's what the Dark State does. It brings up that little extra chip, and it'll make the little noise.
Oh my god, okay, so when you use dark chips in battle, not only do you permanently lose an HP, but there is a chance that it'll create a Dark Soul Mega Man that goes to your opponent's side of the field that uses dark chips ad infinitum, and it's just...
Yep.
And you can't beat it. You just have to wait it out.
Yep. I think that's a good thing to, little hand quotes, deter people. The problem, though, is you usually delete your opponent before that crap happens. So...
Yep.
But here's the other thing.
Yep.
They had these dark chips that were awful for everything, but they also had Navi chips that were Dark Souls.
The DS class, yes.
The Dark Soul of Man. Yeah, so you had things like Metal Man DS, Jungle Man DS, and you could only use them in Dark Mega Man, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Which I never looked into, never invested in, because it just seemed like a lot more work than needed to be. But essentially, you beat their DS Soul because you only had regular, SP, and DS. This game started the trend of 3 Navi chips. 3 types, that's it. They got rid of version, 4 and 5, thank God. And they got rid of versions entirely. And just renamed it.
Which is good. I think that they carried that over into the other installments, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Although they took out DS
and that EX.
Yes.
Which I still think is better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get these, and you can only use them Dark Soul only, and I forget what the power-up for it is. I remember is it something like the amount of time it takes you to delete or something?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure it's that, where if you delete them within a certain amount of time, you get, like, the max damage. Same with the SP, that's right. Yeah. SP was based on how long it took you to delete.
It's also worth noting that there's another aspect of dark chips that a lot of people... I know we're kind of, like, dancing towards Navi types, but I just remember that there's another facet of dark chips that we did not discuss.
What's that?
And that's Chaos Unison.
That's not in this game.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Wait.
It's not. That's in 5.
That's in 5. I'm dumb. Ignore me. Continue.
That's why I kept away from it.
Yeah.
It's okay, I still love you. Yeah, one really cool thing, though, I love the chips in this game. I will say that I love the chip selection in 6. 5 is weird. I think 4 does it very well. A lot of it is a lot of things are, I guess, repetitive. You know, you have like circle gun, 1, 2, 3. 6 has circle gun, which is perfect. But this game also utilizes bugs in a very good way. In fact, no other Battle Network has done that. Where, you know, it's like, oh, I have bugs. What do I do with this? I just have to... Because in 6, we usually just abuse the emotion bug.
Yep.
And that's kind of...
Yeah, we do.
I'll say that's kind of it. Some people who are very risky like to abuse the movement bug. This Battle Network 4 rewards you if you want to use bugs. So they have things like bug chain, bug charge, things that you utilize the number of bugs you have, shoot at your opponent, and then you bug them with it. And I love that so much. So much. This game also rewards you for not using dark chips.
It does. You can get a light Mega Man, kind of like a callback to Mega Man Legends 2, almost.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, so I don't think you can use it if you use dark chips. Holy Dream?
Yep.
I'm sure someone will correct me on this, but I'm fairly certain that you can only use Holy Dream if you're not Dark Souling it up.
You're correct. You are correct.
Okay.
You can't obtain Holy Dream normally, either.
Really?
Yeah, it's not... It's one of those 4.5 chips.
Oh, well, it says purchase from Bugfrag and Internet 4 for 100 Bugfrags.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's been a very long time since I played the end game of 4.
It's okay.
Which is weird because...
I got the wiki page open.
You got the... Okay. Just making sure.
I got you, bro.
I think that the light and dark mechanic is a callback for Mega Man Legends 2 because Oppo, Da, and Shu are in this game as well.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Shu is Aquaman's operator, and then Oppo and Da are her brothers that are trying to go to college. Yeah. They're callbacks to Legends 2 as well.
That's pretty good. I kind of wish that the other games like really played on the light and dark aspect a little bit more. 4 mostly does it for plot, but I think it makes for a really interesting playstyle mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything else. This game also has a ton of mega chips, including DS chips. Let's see, so regular, non-exclusive, you have 60 mega chips.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, because, again, you have things like Super Vulcan, Neo Variety, Shooting Star, Godhammer, Bug Fix, Full Cust, Life Aura, Sanctuary is a mega chip.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention that every single Navi has 3 sets of chips. They've got the normal SP and DS. Mm-hmm. And then not to mention they've got, you know, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And then each version also has its own Giga chips. Only 5 each, though, which is good. It's not too off the wall. I still think that's pretty large for Giga chips.
Technically, there's more, because there are, again, the 4.5 Giga chips like Final Gun.
Oh, yeah, Final Gun. I love that art.
That thing is broken. That chip is just
I've
so
never
busted.
seen Final Gun. What does it do exactly?
What it does is you use the chip, it starts a charge, kind of like Mega Man's charging his Buster.
Okay.
If you get hit with that, with any kind of attack that makes you flinch or go into an invis state, it breaks the charge, but if the charge goes off, the screen dims, and it does 12 times 50 damage, and you can boost it. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's crazy. I'm kind of glad that they didn't put it in there.
I really do like the art for Final Gun, just like that perspective of Mega Man.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Delta Ray is silly. Blue Moon is broken.
I mean, it's a part of the real, like, the Red Sun and Blue Moon. Those are really good program advances, in my opinion.
Well, I mean,
if you can land them.
Yeah. I mean, you can land them because it freezes in 6, but...
that is true.
Let's see, you get Red Sun, Holy Dream, Base, Bug Charge, and Black Barrier, which I don't think you need to be Dark Mega Man to use. Also, Black Barrier is a callback to 3. Because if you remember, Cossack uses the... Is it just Dark Aura?
Yeah, it's Dark Aura.
Yeah. So the Black Barrier is a callback to that. I like that a lot. It's always nice to see little throwbacks here and there. And then Blue Moon has, of course, Blue Moon. Signal Red, which is the silliest thing ever. This is an obstacle chip. And enemy chip is no use while red. Literally, red light, green light. Base Anomaly, Bug Curse, and Delta Ray. Bug Curse being extremely broken.
It is.
You literally just take... You just curse you bug curse your opponent. That's it. You just make them buggy. Evil chip! Make enemy buggy.
Base Anomaly is probably one of the best Gigas in the game as well.
Yeah, because regular base is just the Buster. And then base Anomaly is Hell's Rolling.
Yep.
4 times Hell's Rolling, so that's really good. And then
160 damage a pop. It's crazy.
That's absurd. And then you have all the the secret chips, including 1, 2, 3, 4 that are a little weird to obtain. So I'm gonna name these, and then we're gonna use that as a segue.
Okay.
So you have a bunch of different secret chips, all based on aspects, like you said, of certain navies. You got the roll arrow, you got the propeller bomb, you have meteors, lightning, yada yada yada. I like that lightning's still in here. But now it's like lightning 1, 2, 3. Still broken. But then you have 4 that stand out, and you need to do certain things to get them. So you have the Gunsoul EX, the Z Saver.
Saver. Very important. That V is very important.
Pre-Power, and Duo. So, the first two, I especially want to talk about the Z Saver.
A Reploid sword.
Yes, Reploid sword cuts 3 times. So this, besides being terribly translated, is extremely unique. You can't get it through normal means. You have to link up with Mega Man 03 to get this chip.
Via link cable.
Yes. It's really good. It does 100 damage per swipe. It does a line along... Yeah, it does a what is it? It's a vertical, a horizontal, and then a life sword slash, right?
No, it's wide. It's a normal, wide, and then a hero sword.
Oh, it's normal? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a long. Okay.
Oh, it might be long. It's long, wide, hero.
Okay. Yeah, and if you get him in the middle, it's 300 damage.
Yes.
So, and what's cool is you don't just get a chip from linking up. 03 gets access to cyberspace.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's right.
It's basically just an easy way to skip a level, and you get certain, I think, cyber elves in there.
Yeah.
It's a nice little touch. It's really interesting. And the other one, Gunsoul E. Did you have to link up with Boktai for that?
I do not remember. I believe so. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, Gunsoul EX I remember was tricky to get. And then Pre-Power was weird too. I really wish Chaotic were here because I want to know more about Pre-Power. And so using it as a segue though, Mega Man Battle Network 4 is also, besides being like just packed full of content, it's ambitious as all get up. It does a lot of new things, and it's got so many crossovers, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So, and they're all really good, and all little different things too. So you have, of course, you have the Boktai crossover. So you get the Gunsouls in there. You get an entire side quest where you and Django fight Shade Man.
Yep.
Using the
And
box type battle system?
Django is a very prominent part of a handful of the story too. We'll talk about the story a little later, but
Yeah.
it's also a little known fact that Hideo Kojima himself is actually in Battle Network 4.
Yes.
When you go to Castillo, the building that you go in for the tournament, there's a small lobby off to the side of the building. And right before the tournament starts, you can talk to a very young Hideo Kojima in that room.
His name is Azuma Kantoku. I don't.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that's... at first I was like, is that his name backwards? And I was like, wait a minute, no.
I want to say it's like a play on the characters for his name, but it's not either, so I don't know. But it does look
kind of weird.
The sprite looks really like him, though.
It's basically him. He talks about designing a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, there's that, you have the Operation Battle, which is absolutely insane. So, this one takes advantage of the toy line, where you hook up... Well, you describe. You are the master of this.
So, Operation Battle Mode utilizes a toy that was not sold in America or Europe. It was only sold in Japan. It's the Battle Chip Gate, which comes with a NetNavi chip for Mega Man and 9 other battle chips. It comes with an attachment that you put on top of your Game Boy or your SP, if you want to put it backwards. And you just turn on your Game Boy, and it changes. Instead of New Game and Continue, it unlocks a new mode, which is Operation Battle. You slot in a Navi chip, and you can actually use the real-life Navi chips to... you can't really directly control your Navi fully. You can control the column in which he goes on. It's still a standard, 6x3 field, and you go up against... It's basically a boss rush with real battle chips. It's very, very interesting. You can link up with another friend that has a battle chip gate, and this is fully functional in the English version of Battle Network 4. It's not region locked at all like it is in 5 and 6, which is a real shame. It leads me to believe that the Battle Chip Gate was planned for an English localized release. I also... Midnight showed me on the Mattel, or it was the Hasbro website, that the Advanced Pet 2 was on the slate for an American release.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty... it was pretty safe to say that it was canceled before either of those toys could come to America. I think the Advanced Pet 2 was ready to roll out. It was going to be billed as the sole Unison Pet in America and Europe, but it was unfortunately canceled. So that kind of sucks. But
a little bit. I feel like they kind of cut the toy line short for Battle Network, which
they had to. They were selling very, very badly. They can't. The ratings for the TV show were really, really bad.
I like how we started with, the TV show was picking up, and then it's like, nope.
Well, I mean, it picked up, sure, and then once it started to wind down after the M1 Grand Prix arc, it just kind of tapered. I mean, Pharaohman was there, and after the Pharaohman segment of the anime, like, it just fell off. It didn't help if 4Kids localized it. So, Heavy Metal Man.
I'll show you the power of Megaman.
Wind Blast Man.
Multanic Man.
Oh my god. Torch Man. Anyway, but yeah, so...
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, Japan
talk about Mr. Match.
God, Japan's a lot heavier on advertising their stuff properly.
They do. They have great commercials.
Yeah.
The commercial for 3, that, like, N1 Grand Prix.
God, don't get me started.
That commercial's so good.
Don't get me started. I used to use that as my intro for Pokemon battles. Oh yeah, I love that animation. It's so good. And I always look back to it and I think that's very clever how they did it. Because if you look at it, Mega Man's using Battle Network 2 chips, fighting Proto Man, and they start to deteriorate against him.
Yep.
Which I think shows, oh, we're progressing. Let's leave the Fire Blade behind. It's time to move forward into something new.
Very artistic. Have you seen the Mega Man Battle Network 4 Japanese advertisement?
Maybe
It's a live action thing.
Lord, what?
Where so the EXE4 advertisement for Rockman EXE4 in Japan is Dr. Regal saying use the dark chip.
Oh my god.
And Meru's running towards Lan, who is about to use the dark chip in a rainy building that's falling apart.
Ugh.
It's such a good commercial.
Here it
It's
is.
very, very short. Yeah, give it a gander. It's so good. It's so short, but it is so good. I really do like the advertisement for the Battle Network.
What was that?
What?
That's trippy.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very quick. If you blink, you miss it.
Yeah. Oh, look, hey, recommended Mega Man fan film. God. Not again. Anyway.
Another one. Yeah,
No more. So, and it's interesting that all of it's still in place to work. The Operation Battle, even though we didn't get the toy, if you just import it, you can do it.
Yeah.
In fact, I always say I deleted Chaotic in less than 20 seconds on it.
Yeah, so recently, earlier in the year, we actually had a meetup in New York where I brought my entire battle chip collection and wowed Midnight, Adell, and Chaotic. And, you know, it was pretty fun. Broke out the battle chips, we got our gates out. Chaotic showed us his very, very damaged.
Oh, God, that thing made me weep.
SP. That thing, like, it was a trooper. Shoutouts to that SP, man. But yeah, we played a bunch of Operation Battle Mode, and it just, I don't know, it feels really fun to play Operation Battle Mode because you get a feel for what it would feel like to operate a Navi.
Yeah.
And you can kind of excuse Lan for being a doofus in the anime and not using chips very often, because when you're in that moment, you're like, what do I use next? You know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was, it's kind of cheap when MMX is around because he has, like, every chip, so it's a little broken. But, he dumped him in front of me. I actually was scrambling to find the next chip I wanted. And you can't really keep slotting in the same chip, can you?
You can, depending on the chip. Like, some of them you can use only once, like Fast Gauge or Area Steel.
Right.
Others you can use up to, like, 3 times. 3 is the maximum. Things like Vulcan, Vulcan 2, Vulcan 3.
Right.
Obviously, you can only use Giga Chips once. Obviously, you can only use Mega Chips once, but yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I can completely say that. Although, I will say this against Lan in the anime, this dude's supposed to have a folder set up.
This guy, oh my god.
Instead of us just scrambling on the bed looking for what chip to use next, he's supposed to have a complete folder of his strategy set up prior. Not just, here's a ton of mini bombs, good luck. I'm sorry, mini boomers.
Mini boomers. Oh, Cyber Sword battle chip in. Download.
So was it Cyber Sword, Wide Sword, Long Sword?
Yes. Laser blast instead of cannon.
It was a laser blast. Oh no, not again.
No.
Okay, so it had that. I believe it had to link up with Boktai.
Yep.
Okay. It had to link up with 03, and this is the game that introduced e-reader to Battle Network. Yes. And mod cards. So your Mega Man, again, we haven't gone to mod cards yet because I honestly feel they don't really play as big a role until 6.
No.
Because I've never had to use them in 4. So, do you know what they do in 4 at all, or do they do the same things?
They do essentially the same thing. I've got a stack of mod cards for EXE4 here. They effectively do the same thing. Some of them do chip attacks. Some of them give boosts to good old blue Mega Man.
So do you
Some of them just change the color of Mega Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you still get like the elemental?
Yeah, you do.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I'll cover this real quick because I wanted to save this for a different episode. Mod cards are essentially just you swipe it through the e-reader and it gives Mega Man an assortment of abilities, positive and negative, depending on the card you use. And it mods him. It upgrades him in a different way. So, like, we had mod tools in 3, now we have mod cards in 4 and up. and you can only have up to 80 megabytes. Each one has a certain megabyte value. And depending on the combo you use, you can do some really dumb stuff.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So, alright, I think we just spent about 45 minutes lapping up at Battle Network 4's greatness. Let's blow through what makes this game actually tick.
Okay.
The minuscule story. So, we're going to start touching on some negative parts here.
The translation.
Hey.
Good God, is this translation? Legs go, land. What a great young man she was.
No, it was a nice young man.
Nice young man.
I have the book
yes.
right here. Actually, God, it's a really good book. So, yeah, for some reason this game was horribly translated. Or not horribly, just it felt rushed, I guess.
Yeah.
It missed a lot of beats. The story... Is Iguchi in charge of the story for this, or did he step off?
I think Iguchi was still on this.
Okay, this one...
Midnight will probably correct us if we're wrong.
Alright, yeah. This one takes such a huge departure from the first three, and I understand that this is supposed to be a progression, but really, nothing from 3 is mentioned at all. Whereas in, like, 3, you bring back characters from 2 to help progress the story. 4 to 3 means nothing. You could pick up 4 and it could be a fresh game entirely. You don't have to play any prior games to know something. Story sucks. You have to play the damn game 3 times to unlock everything. I'm sorry, just to unlock all of your soul unisons. There you go.
Yeah, it's not a game where you can just pick it up, play it, and put it down. You gotta continue the game, and your stuff doesn't carry over.
Nope. Nope. So you're gonna do the tutorial 3 times.
You're gonna have to get Navicus parts 3 times.
So we'll brush through the story. Chaotic made us some really nice cliff notes here, so we're gonna brush through this real quick. All right. The minuscule story, as told by Chaotic. Shademan kidnaps Roll.
Oh no.
You beat him up, and you take the dark chip he drops.
What's this?
Okay, then we show it to MMX, and don't use it, kiddo.
Aw.
Then you go to sleep. Then you take part in the tourney.
Let's go.
The tourney that is in place to determine whose net navi will be beamed up into an asteroid to make sure it doesn't hit the Earth.
Yes, you did not hear that incorrectly. We get to jack into a meteor.
Yes. You go on a date with Melu.
Woohoo!
Things go wrong and you stop some toy robots. Oh my god, I remember that. It also had a really good theme. He is right. Toy Robo is one of the best themes in the game. I'm going to touch on that too, briefly. This game's got a lot of good music. I will always say that 3 has some good soundtracks. Final Transmission is one of my favorites. But dude, this game just kind of blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
And I still think it has one of the best soundtracks, even up to 6. Especially Save Our Planet.
Yeah. Oh my god, best ending theme ever.
It gets you hyped. It really does.
It does. It like comes in at a really good time, and the way that the level is designed, by the time you get to a certain point in the map, the music like hits that crescendo, and it's just like, oh, let's go!
Yeah, you're ready to knock Duo's head off. Alright, so you fight Shademan again, and you have to use the dark chip for plot development. You don't lose your HP, though.
Yep.
Tourney again. And then it's time to save the world via liberating the net from barbed doors.
Not the doors!
You fight a heal Navi in the park. It turns out that Regal tried using this heal Navi to kill Mega Man, blah, blah, blah.
Another one.
Head to Naxa, that's N-A-X-A.
Not NASA, don't sue us.
Yes. Regal is evil, go figure. a man with that kind of facial hair and monocle.
An acclaimed scientist or proprietor of evil.
You watch your dad get knocked out right in front of you. It's really good.
For the first time. It happens again.
Yes. You jack into a meteor.
Literally a meteor.
You beam Mega Man up through a laser. It's pretty good. Here it is. It says it right here. Best theme in the game. That's right.
Yep. Can confirm.
Kill Laser Man. I like the designs of some of the bosses in this. Laser Man was unique, though.
it was not good. He was very bland.
And I agree on one hand. On the other, I like that he's a dark net navi that uses light-based attacks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's interesting. Like, his design, I don't like the stupid things coming out of his back. His feet are kind of weird. Like, they're kind of like talons, but they're flat. I like, he has some cool designs aspects, and then the rest of them is just kind of like, why is this here?
Yeah.
Whereas Video Man, I think, has an amazing design.
Yeah.
Gridman
2.
Oh, God. Well, no, Gridman was 5.
Or
Kendo
what
Man.
was famous as Navian? The Kendo Man.
Kendo
wow,
Man,
yeah.
Yes. Because you have to do a Kendo match, remember?
Yep. It's coming back to me.
That's another bad aspect of this game. Ton of mini-games. Like, a lot. A lot of mini-games.
Unless you don't like mini-games, in which case, this is just a slog.
There's a lot of them. I don't like having a ton of mini-games, especially when it's just press direction, do this.
Yeah.
Alright, so you kill Laser Man, then you have to kill your Dark Soul. Then you have to kill Duo. But you don't kill him, technically. You beat him, and he's like, oh, I understand that even you can be good. And then he goes away.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna destroy the world. It must be purged. And this is like a net navi, mind you. And he's just like gets beat up by Mega Man. He's like, oh, just kidding. I'm not gonna do.
Don't tell anyone I did this. Everyone in the world cheers for Mega Man, quite literally, and then you have to repeat it all over again.
It's worth mentioning that at the end of and this is a spoiler, obviously all of this is spoilers for Battle Network 4, it's worth mentioning that Regal is responsible for calling Duo to the planet.
Somehow.
He called Duo to the planet to propagate dark chips, so that people will be threatened by Duo and then be more inclined to utilize dark power.
Somehow.
I mean, he'd probably just...
Never explained. I wish... that's something they could have explained, and it would have been interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Even Battle Network 1 attempted to explain how Wily was going to upload the life virus into the satellites.
True.
Via a rocket.
It makes sense, really.
I'm going to literally load this virus onto a rocket.
Straight to the moon!
Do you remember that? It's just like sitting outside of the rocket, all swirly and things. You're just thinking... Wait, why isn't this in a computer? What?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
And, you gotta do this 3 times. He even has, like, little pros and cons in multiple playthroughs. Chip Souls and Navi's being locked behind more playthroughs. No post-game until Continue 3. That's awful. Post-game being abysmal with 2 areas with nothing other than a Soul Unison Navi, Dark Soul boss rush, and a fight with Dark Mega.
You really don't have... Now, coming off of Battle Network 3's pristine endgame, this is depressing.
Yes. And keep in mind, this is still the best-selling Battle Network game to date.
But it kind of harkens back to classic Mega Man in a way.
How so?
Because the Wily stages had a boss rush.
That's true, okay.
I mean, that might not be intentional or the developer's intention of this specifically, but that's the kind of vibe I get from Battle Network 4's post-game. Not saying that it's good, but I'm just saying that there's... I mean, it feels like there's something there. There probably isn't, but there... I don't know.
It's just... yeah, no, it's not very fun. I hate to say it that way. The free tournaments are the whole thing that you have to go through 3 times to get all your unisons. You trade over Soul Unisons, though. Which is interesting. So, you keep Gut Soul, even though you don't fight Gutsman in this continue. If that makes sense.
No.
So basically, if you play through the first time, let's say you get Gut Soul and Fire Soul, you start the next game, or the next continue, right? So you can get the next Soul Unison set. but you also get to keep Gut Soul and Fire Soul through your playthrough. So you can just, as soon as you get a cracking or a fire chip, start burning or punching people to death.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a weird way to do it.
Let's see, they show up in the free tournament. Oh yeah, free tournament was the thing. I forgot about that. Because then you could just, like, fight the net navies that weren't in your game to get their chips. Mm-hmm. That was a good way to do it. I think it gave you chips.
I agree.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it gives you, like, Gundel Sol and pre-power.
Oh, is that how you get the pre-power?
Yeah.
Okay.
You only get pre-power from free tournaments. There we go. I think you can only get duo from it as well.
Wow, that's... Yep, there it is. Oh, no, wait, no. Free tournament is the only way to get secret chips, excluding... Soul duo pre-powers you. I don't know. That's weird. If someone could let us know how you get duo pre-power and Gundel Soul EX, let us know. Thank you.
In the comment section. Or if you're listening to this on iTunes, leave us a review. 5-star one.
BN3 versus BN4, why people hate it. Yeah, basically.
I mean, truth be told, like I said, coming from BN3, like, the post-game was pristine in Battle Network 3. The battle system was really finely tuned. I feel like Battle Network 4 is not very well balanced. If it's even can be considered to be balanced in the first
That's
place.
crazy, comparing it to, like, Battle Network 3 as well. It's like, I don't think this PvP is very bad. It's like, whoa.
Well, I mean, considering that, like I said previously at the top of the show, like, your folder practically has to be built to cater to souls.
Yes.
And if you're not doing that, I mean, you can't do things like area lock your opponent. Battle Network 4 changed the ability to where you couldn't lock your opponent into one single space. They always will have the back row available to them. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't use cheese strats like that. So the program advances were not very interesting. Although I will say Infinite Vulcan is probably my favorite PA.
This dude over here.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. But...
Hang on, I want to check, because...
Look it up, my dude.
Yeah, let me bring a program advanced real quick. Program advance. Alright, let's see. Battle Network 4. Alright, so you still had Giga Cannon 1 through 3, Hyper Burst, Heat Spread, Bubble Spread, Super Spread 1 through 3, which is Wide Shot, Flame Cross 1 through 3, Beast Fang 1 through 3, which I think is an awful program advance. Mag Shock 1 through 3. A lot of these are 1 through 3s. Pit Hockey 1 through 3.
Woo!
Pit Ring 1 through 3. Life Sword, Time Bomb, Bodyguard, Poison Pharaoh, Pile Driver, which was the absolute most broken. 800 damage if you line it up right. And Dark Messiah Neo.
Yeah, not very exciting, truth be told.
A lot of 1 through 3s, not a lot of unique things, which, again, coming off the first 3 Battle Networks, they had some really goofy ones, one especially, but they had a sense of uniqueness to them, whereas this is, hey, do you want to use Pit Ring 1 or Pit Ring 2? And you say, no, I want to use Pit Ring 3, but I actually don't want to because this is boring.
Yeah.
Also using STU in my folder, please kill me.
Yeah. Complete garbage.
Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, I hate games that do that, where they just keep the Giga Cannon 1 through 3. It's like, why don't you just put Giga Cannon in and make the damage an average 500 or something? It's not even that hard.
It really isn't. I don't know.
But yeah, it's a... Hearing you say that, though, where it makes me realize it's such a stark difference in the PvP of 4 as opposed to, like, the PvP of 6. PvP of 6 is you have crosses, they serve certain purposes, but you build your folder around strategy. Like, what you want to do. Salad is a perfect example of this, when she uses the whole Grab Revenge Bees combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not any kind of, like, diversity in this game. You can't do anything like that's what I was saying at the top of the show. Like, the library is almost choked with chips that cater to Soul Unison.
Yes.
And I get that it's a big part of the game, but you've got very uninteresting program advances. You got very uninteresting chips. Roll arrow deletes opponent's chips.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. Roll arrow deletes opponent's chips.
I'd also like to point out that it's not just a secret chip you get that does that. It's also a Soul Unison charge shot.
Exactly. A charge shot. Capcom, what were you doing?
But why does Larkman do that then?
We're not... Okay, listen. Capcom is known for repeating the sins of the past in some instances. But be that as it may. Something like that.
They also nerfed Snake to hell.
They did. I mean, to be fair, they kind of needed
20
to.
damage, no element. Capcom, what were you
Pretty
thinking?
broken in 3. It's pretty broken.
Instead, let's bring back Big Hammer 1 through 3. Hell yeah, my dude.
Let's go. But yeah, I think Battle.net 4, it's memorable the first playthrough. by the time you finish the third playthrough, you're just ready to be done with the game. Like, you should never gate your content behind multiple playthroughs of the same game, because the person has already experienced it. By the third playthrough, they don't want to finish.
Really don't.
They'll never even see the post game because they don't want to play the game. Most people don't even know that you have to play the game multiple times. They just assume that it's, one and done, like every other game and every other game in the series.
And it's a good thing to point out that 4 is the only one to do this.
Yep, it is.
After that, now you played through 5, and then you had your post game. You played through 6, you had your post game. There was no start over, and fight Gregar again. That would actually be awful. Yeah. I don't even want to think how they would do that. So, that's one other thing. I actually really do want to point out that they did well. I'm not going to end on just, pooping all over BN4. BN4 had a ton more PvE options going forward. So it wasn't in 3, when a heal Navi or a regular Navi fought you fought the viruses. In this one, you fight the Navi. You fight a heal Navi, you fight normal Navi 1 through 5.
And they can use chips.
Yes, they might have a mystery chip above them. They have their own strategies. Some summon, viruses. Others just fight. But it's nice. It makes it feel more alive, more connected. Not just, I see that you have found me. Now I, a heal Navi, will fight you. And then, a Viney comes out.
Now that I think about it, Battle.net 4 is probably one of the only Game Boy Advance games that has so much interconnectivity with other titles and accessories. It's got the chip gate, it's got the e-reader, it's got crossover with Boktai, crossover with Mega Man Zero. There's not really any other game that has that level of interconnectivity with other titles.
No, not at all.
In that library. It's actually kind of stunning. It almost feels like Battle.net 4 was more of a commercial than it was an actual installment.
I could see that. Kind of like the anime, it was just a big commercial.
I mean, that's what most anime around a video game series are anyway. That's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just built to, sell cards.
I mean, that's true. Let's not forget about the Link Beast Gate, though. Or is it just the Link Gate? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the Beast Link Gate.
Yeah, Beast Link. I can't even get it right. Literally just a piece of plastic to hold your chips.
I mean, yeah, that is true. I've got one right here.
Just throw it away.
It looks good. Hey, I use it. I have a flash card.
Nice.
I can speedrun it. It's fine.
One other thing I wanted to point out. I mentioned it earlier before we start recording. A lot of the areas are a lot nicer now. Because, again, with the smaller sprites, they can add more detail to the areas, make them bigger. I think the Undernet looks awful. You have this really nice, weird, broken super secretive aesthetic going on for Battle Network 3. I think it's 4, and it looks like there are poop clouds behind you.
It's not very memorable.
No, I had to see a picture, and I was like, oh yeah, wow. Ugh.
I mean, I get that they were trying to work with a new art style, and there were some. This installment certainly shows that there were some growing pains, just like there were for Battle Network 1, just like there were for 2 and 3, and Lord knows Battleship Challenge and Network Transmission, and all those others. It was a step in the right. I think it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely helped move the series forward in a better direction.
Yeah.
Where I think 5 had a really good thing going for it, but it was just...
okay.
It was just a little too drawn out in certain areas. I didn't really like it, but we'll get into that next time.
I mean, yeah. We'll talk about RTSs.
Yes.
Next time.
I can't think of anything else to add to 4, can you?
I guess in closing, Battle Network 4 is a game that I think people love to hate because of the replayability, but down at its core, it is certainly an experience. It's not that the story is bad, it's just a story that doesn't really carry over well multiple times.
No, unfortunately, it is a game that you will play, and then later on you'll look back and just see the negatives. But I feel if you dig deep enough and you grasp enough straws, you'll find the positives you want out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assertion. That's I think that all in all, with the interconnectivity with Boktai, with the chip gate, with the new chips that are introduced, Dark Soul, Dark Chips, there's a lot of content. Like you said, there's tons of content packed in this installment, and it's one of the first games. It is the first game in the series to split the series off into 2 versions, which I guess Pokemon kind of popularized.
What about Blue and White?
Oh well, oh yeah, that's right. It's the second in the series that split it off.
Okay, I was gonna say, hang on a minute.
Yeah, that's my fault. It's kind of
technically
late, but,
3 was 3 games, but
Well, yeah, but I mean that's not in a single region. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it was memorable. A lot of people love to hate it. Very few people like myself hate to love it. But
I'm always kind of indifferent towards it. The one really big thing I remember that was super dumb was, okay, so you had the Gun del Sol in there. That's cool. The fact that you got more power out of it when you stood in actual sunlight inside the game was dumb, because you could just park your butt right outside the little carnival thing, jack into the wagon, and just be done.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, aha, now Gun del Sol, eat lead, nerd.
Tayo.
Alrighty, so I think that just about wraps up Mega Man Battle Network 4.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really touch on 4.5, which I feel like we probably could, but I feel like we need to dedicate an episode to, like, the spin-off toys and chips and physical accessories and things like that. So,
I'll find a way for 4.5.
We'll do it. We'll get it done.
Okay. Alright. So, thank you all for listening. I guess this is the part where we plug. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com on trainers. You can find me at twitter.com/trainer_Adell. You can find MegaMasterX at twitter.com/MegaMasterX.
Yep.
Same with his Twitch.
Yep. You can also find me at twitch.tv/MegaMasterX.
Yes.
I've been streaming a lot of Animal Crossing, but probably get back into Battle Network 1 at some point. I don't know. I need to finish it. I really need to finish it.
Yeah, you do. I enjoy watching you get mad and get lost on the internet.
I hate it so much, dude. It's such torture.
Nah, we can't talk bad about 1. The listeners didn't like that. It's a good boy. It's a golden game.
If you can't say nothing good about... I'm just kidding.
Battle Network 1 was garbage.
Oh no, here come the 1-star reviews on iTunes. But yeah.
You can also find me twitch.tv/tactical_network. I need to get back into my streaming schedule, honestly. It's just, when you work, like, 6 to 7 days a week, it's really hard.
Yeah. Working 50 to 60 hours a week is not a good way to stream music.
No,
so
not at all.
I feel you there.
So I think that's got us. You can also, of course, on YouTube, we're here. You've obviously found my channel somehow.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. If you did enjoy this this podcast, and you're listening to us on iTunes, feel free to rate us a 5-star review. Leave us a comment or whatever stars you feel generous to give. If you're listening to on YouTube, feel free to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe.
Heck yeah. Gotta keep my, the PG rating. Yeah, so, I think that wraps it up for now. I believe next week we'll finish up on Dark Souls and get into the granddaddy of them all, Battle Network 5, Team Proto Man, and Team Colonel.
If by old man you mean game that probably should have retired already, yes.
Think it should have ended at 4?
No. I think it should have ended at 6. I think it ended on a good note.
What if it did end at 4, though? I want you to think about that. What would the meta be right now?
I mean, we're still waiting on a solution to Mega Man Legends 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom would have left it at 4, just on a cliffhanger, and it was just like, wow, we saved the world, and that's it. That's it. I mean, Mega Man's still on the moon. Capcom, please give us Legends 3. Oh my god.
It's never happening.
Don't crush my dreams, please.
I will. I have to bring you back down to reality.
Alright, Duo.
Angry face. So yeah. Please join us next time when we talk about Battle Network 5. And it's 3 versions.
Oh, yeah.
Can't forget about that.
Nope.
It's amazing dub. And it's really unique way of doing things.
Let us do it, Lan Hikari.
Jack in! Mega Man! Power up!
Execute! Football!
Let's do it, lad.
Oh my god. I'll take a battle chip and eat it! Okay, but yeah.
Do not. Alright, once again, thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to join us next time when we talk about Battle Network 5. MegaMasterX, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Always, my friend. And until next time, everyone, keep busting those viruses. Transcode! Mega Man! Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Net Saviors Podcast. Be sure to join us next time, where we talk about Battle Network 5, Team Proto Man, Team Colonel, and Double Team DS. A big thank you to Kokiremix for the music used in this episode. If you'd like to hear more, be sure to check out their YouTube at Kokiremix.